Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how a woman leaves her marriage with 2 children because her husband was too perfect, and also how women are less tolerant of men in marriage compared to men with women. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you. Man, add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave us your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
When the butterflies turn to dust that covered my whole room. Now I'm pacing on.
I'm sorry, but these are such small things that really literally just occur from a man existing in a house. And on top of it, these things are really super fixable. You just have to have a reasonable discussion. There's really no reason for an ultimatum, and especially not a threat of divorce. But even at worst, if he flat out refuses to keep the laundry picked up, the drawers closed, and to stop playing his Xbox as much, is he a good man? Is he a hard worker? Does he make you feel loved? Does he respect you and your opinion? Is he loving and giving towards you? Do you enjoy spending time with him? These are the things that matter, not the stuff. Because if he was worth marrying, it's actually worth doing those little extra things that result from him living in the same space as you. Especially when nobody is perfect, and I'm sure that he picks up the slack and he does things for you. I think that if you can just accept it because it's so small and petty, then do that. If you can't, then just have a discussion about it. Don't make a TikTok and put that man on blast for something that he probably doesn't realize bothers you that much.
This is exactly why my grandmother used to say, dirty laundry should be washed at home. You know what happens in marriages today? The little tolerance women have towards men. There's a stigma that a man has to handle everything perfectly, and he can't have any shortcomings. I once heard this analogy. A woman can have a man who has 80% of everything she wants in a man, but even so, that man will lack the remaining 20%. Women prefer to leave that man to go in search of a man who has that 20% that her ex-husband lacked. When she finds him, she realizes he has that 20% but lacks the 80% that her ex-husband brought to the table. What does this tell you? That you only have 2 options. Either find a solution as a couple to resolve the problem or leave. But if you leave, you'll end up jumping from one place to another because there isn't a person who is 100% in everything. But women don't think that way. They never imagine that men also tolerate many imperfections in them, but because we are tolerant, we let them pass. But women don't. Women want you to be that prototype of the perfect man they have in their minds, and even if you achieve it, they will always find another problem to complain about.
I swear some men only put value on their wives once they are gone, sick, or dead. It is insane that they are fine with putting a fiduciary value on it, except when it comes to stay-at-home moms, except when it comes to just your wife in general.
There are men that do not value women's time and they do not value women's work, especially if it's unpaid work they're doing. I post a ton about domestic labor, the laundry, the cooking, the cleaning, the caretaking, and every time I do, without fail, there are men in the comments who say, that is not hard work. That is not hard work. Why are you complaining? Why are you nagging? Why are you always talking about this? It is not hard work. It is easy, so stop talking about it. That is what they are saying in the comments. And then when somebody has the audacity to ask them to cook dinner, take care of their own kids, do their own laundry, they want to get paid for it. They want to get paid for it. It's not hard work, but if they're doing it, they deserve to get paid. And that's because a lot of these men believe that their time is more valuable than women's time. Women should be doing all of these things, not complaining about it and doing it for free. But if they are doing it, then they deserve to be paid. They deserve acknowledgement. They deserve to be seen as taking on this hardship for their family, for simply doing domestic labor and taking care of their own kids, right? And I'm not just saying this. When women are working full-time, even when they are the breadwinner, they do the bulk of the domestic labor and the caretaking. Even when they're the sole earner, they do a fair share of the domestic labor and caretaking. But when men are the breadwinners or the sole winners, they do a very minimal amount of caretaking and domestic labor because they value their time more than women's time. Even when women say, hey, I'm the breadwinner, I make more money. Men go, well, your job's probably not that hard. Your job can't be that hard because you're a woman. So of course it couldn't be hard. It couldn't be hard, and therefore it's not valuable. I'm appreciative because I need your money and I'm going to spend your money, but actually don't talk about it because it's not hard. So I still expect you to do the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning and taking care of the kids. I understand that you make more money. I understand that you're the only one working, but I still expect you to show up at home. But when women dare to ask of that of their partners, these men go up in arms like, oh my God, what are you complaining about? How could you be mad at me? I have a job, I make money, and you want me to do the dishes? Are you kidding me? My time is more valuable than that. That's all it comes down to. They think their time is more valuable than women's time. They think the time that they spend at work is more valuable even if they're paid less because their work is harder. Because what they do is more important. Because they're a man. That's really what it comes down to. Like, I'm not saying all men. I have to always put that disclaimer. I'm not saying all men, but a lot of men. The data shows it. The data shows that this is how a lot of men think and act. Because if they didn't, then this woman wouldn't be making a video about how she has a job where she literally has men filing claims because women can't fold laundry and they have to do it. And so they need money for it.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
This is what awaits you when you marry a feminist from the purple hair movement. This woman talks about chores, but let me tell you something. How much does a man really dirty when he usually only comes home to eat dinner? Now, let me tell you something else. They complain about doing housework, but if you stay at home and the man supports the family, what part of the work are you contributing to? Making TikTok videos, right? Because if you get sick, your husband pays the medical bill. All the expenses, including the internet, are paid by your husband. The kids' expenses are paid by your husband. The car is paid by your husband. The gas is paid by your husband. What you buy at the store is paid by your husband. When all the financial responsibilities fall on your husband, why is it not possible to keep a clean home? A home that your husband also paid for. They always find something to complain about. Most men today know how to be functional adults. They usually do some chores, like taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, cleaning the pool if there is one, maintaining the car, and fixing things around the house. But according to this woman, the man does nothing. You want to see how noticeable this difference is? Simply look at how a house in a neighborhood looks when there's a couple versus a house where a single mother lives. The yard looks neglected, and the house looks abandoned because she doesn't do the man's tasks. But as I said, the man never helps at home.
Some husbands and some wives end up regretting getting a divorce. For better or worse, in my experience, oftentimes it's the husband, it's the man who's paying alimony, who's paying child support. Men sometimes only think about the short term, what their life will immediately look like after the divorce. They're not looking at the long term. If you're a guy, if you're thinking about leaving your wife, you gotta look at the whole picture before you make that decision. What's gonna happen to the kids? Where are your kids gonna live? Are you gonna have to pay support to your ex? Are you gonna have to divide your assets? Are you gonna have to sell the house? Are you gonna have to buy a new house? Is your life going to be harder by divorcing versus trying to make the marriage work?
How could it not be difficult if 40% of your salary goes to a woman, where you have to pay alimony because she doesn't want to work, where you have to support your children until they turn 18, and you have to leave your house and pay rent? How the hell could it not be difficult to move forward? Men don't regret the divorce itself. We regret the permanent debt that comes with it. Honestly, this alimony for women is just modern slavery, where the man also has to pay child support, which is only for men. When a father has custody of the children, the woman doesn't pay. If a man falls behind or owes more than $20,000 in child support, he goes to jail, but if a woman owes $40,000, nothing happens to her. You've lost half of your savings, your assets, part of your 401k, and still have to keep paying. That's why I always say that a man who gets up from a disastrous divorce is a hero. Yes, because if you are a man without family, friends, or siblings, it's tough. You have to go to a rundown hotel or, in some cases, rent rooms with other men and start over. That's why you never see a man going on a celebratory trip or celebrating after a divorce because all he has left are bills to pay. Alimony should be abolished because it's just a state invention to enslave men.
There's one thing that a narcissist will do 9 out of 10 times, if not every time, when you're having an argument. I was married to a narcissist, and 9 out of 10 times when we had an argument, if not every time, he would do this one thing, and it irritated me so bad. I'm not going to act like I'm a perfect person. I never did anything wrong in my marriage, But this is one thing that I would highly recommend you not do to your spouse, especially when you're arguing, is bring up something from the past, especially if that person has already apologized, you've talked through it multiple times, done what they need to do for you to move past it. So when me and my husband would argue, he would say, okay, well, remember when you did this? Remember when you did this? And he would bring up something that happened years ago, like in the beginning of us dating. I'm just gonna fully expose myself, tell you what happened. Again, I'm not perfect. I was 18 years old when we started dating, and so this is 18-year-old me being stupid and just whatever. Me and my friend wanted alcohol, and our manager was sketchy enough to buy us some and give it to us. And I told him, my boyfriend, who was the narcissist that I ended up marrying at the time, I ended up lying to him about how we got the alcohol. But he was older than me. He was old enough to get his own alcohol, like go to the store, whatever. He was over 21. And I just wanted to be cool and be like, ooh, look, like I can get my own alcohol too. Because we had been dating for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. So I just wanted to look cool for him. I know it's stupid, but I did. And even though it was a stupid lie, it was still a lie, and I was in the wrong for lying. And I apologized multiple times. I explained the situation, but 2 years into our marriage, 1.5 years, 6 months into our marriage, whatever, he would bring it up every single time. Remember when you lied about this? Remember when you did this? Remember, like, and I would say, I apologize for that. We've talked through it. This was the situation. And he would be like, I bet you're not even telling me the full story. And he would want me to go through that whole story again of when we were dating for like the first 3 weeks of when I lied, which again, I shouldn't have lied. It was dumb. But I apologized multiple times about it, and he would still bring it up as ammo because that was like the one thing he had on me. And why do they do this? They do this to completely avoid any kind of accountability, especially if the argument has nothing to do with what they're bringing back up. We would be arguing about, hey, you didn't put your laundry in the spot that I've asked you to please do over and over. He'd be like, remember when you lied to me? It would be like completely just misdirection. Take the blame off of me and put it all on you for no reason. And again, I'm not perfect in the marriage. I said some things that I shouldn't have said, just like everybody. I'm human. But that was the one time that I legitimately did something that he had the right to be mad about, was that I lied, which again, don't lie. That's dumb. Even if it's a stupid lie, don't lie. You know, there's no point in doing that. But he harped on that for years. And that's what narcissists do. They will take that one little thing where they like caught you. They got you, and they can't move past that one thing, and it will irritate the out of you. It doesn't matter how many times you apologize, work through it, whatever, they're still going to bring it up.
Stop it. Get some help.
Brother, they always tell the story in a way that suits them. When a man complains a lot to a woman about something from the past, it's only because she cheated. She probably got drunk with a friend, and something more happened, and now she says she just bought alcohol. What nonsense. But here's the thing. She feels entitled to insult him, complain about him, but if he complains and reminds her of her mistake, he's the bad guy. But while you're telling me about my faults, that's okay, right? Brothers, responsibility is kryptonite for women because they accuse you of the very same things they do, but if you do it to them, you're the bad guy, right? A narcissist is a woman who always plays the victim in every argument, in every story, in everything that happened in the relationship. She never did anything wrong because she knows she's the victim here. The man is the bad guy. Remember, women don't like to be corrected, advised, or told what to do by a man. If he brought up the past and present arguments, it's because she wanted to do something similar or was thinking of doing things that the man didn't like. But as I said, responsibility for their actions is kryptonite for them.
No. Our generation is cooked. There's no way. Kakas Ex Wife has just come out saying why she actually divorced Kaka, who she was married to for 10 years, saying, Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. You're telling me that this woman married her childhood sweetheart and divorced him after 10 years, even after 2 children, to end up going with a bad boy. So she was married to a Champions League winner, World Cup winner, and Ballon d'Or winner, and yet she still divorced him. Not to mention that this guy's one of the most handsome men in football. I'm not gay, but this guy is majestic, let's be real. Lads, if this guy ended up being single and got divorced for being too perfect, Our chances are not even slim. There's no hope for us.
This is quite literally a good man's worst fear. Because I bet you anything that man did everything that he thought he needed to do to be a good husband. The problem with that is when there happens to be a mismatch, meaning what he is doing is not exactly what she needs. Guess whose responsibility that is to communicate it? It's hers, and that's what men are saying. They're saying that you need to communicate this to them because they are not mind readers.
What? Oh my God!
No, brother, that's not it. What happened is that this man forgot his masculinity. This man catered to her every need. He wanted to be the perfect husband. He took away the drama and the opportunity for her to victimize herself. So why did she leave him? Because he bored her. She lived in a golden cage where everything was filled with love. But she, like a bird, didn't want to be there in that perfect place. She wanted instability. Anxiety and uncertainty or instability will always be your best allies. I always tell men to prioritize themselves because a masculine man knows how to guide a woman's energy. He knows when to be strong and when to be affectionate, when to give his woman a bit of salt and when to give her sugar. When you know how to navigate this, the woman stays hooked on the roller coaster of emotions. This man was a sugar loaf. She would say something and he would comply. He always did everything right. But even the Bible says that a loving father corrects. You must learn to say no. That generates respect and boundaries. If he had been the man who at times said no, who put her in her place, she would have entered her feminine energy and wanted to do things for him because she needed his approval again. These women lack a father figure. If you are the simp who always says yes to everything, they will abuse you and get bored. That's why she changed him for a less successful man who gave her less but brought anxiety, instability, and uncertainty. All the drama a woman needs to be happy. Because with Mr. Perfect, she dried up. She didn't feel like being intimate with that man. As I said once, anger and love are both emotions. You just have to learn how to handle them. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do you think women get bored of these good, perfect men? Why do you think women have so little tolerance for men today? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.